I get sick and tired of having to choose from people that are political, just career politician types, folks that have been chosen by the establishment. I'm tired of it, and I'm going to give the people an option this time. A common man with common sense. I'm not a politician. I'm a small businessman, actually. And I am 50 years old from Magnolia, Texas. My wife and I are in the funeral business. We own a couple of funeral homes, a couple of cemeteries, and a crematory. And I think I'm the only candidate in the race, I'm certain of this, that is pledging to serve only one 6-year term. To demonstrate my sincerity, the day I take office, I will close my political campaign fund, because if you're not running for re-election, there's no point to continue to take people's money. And I'm tired of these people that go to Washington, they've got hooks in them, and they're so controlled by special interests that they don't get anything done. And as I say, they drink the Kool-Aid. Before you know it, they're talking a lot different than they were when they were campaigning. They're certainly voting different, and they're just thinking about the next election. And I'm good for one 6-year term, and that is it. The Founding Fathers, I believe, talked time and time again about citizen legislators, and that's what I will be. It is the reason that I'm running for the United States Senate. People say, Glenn, you've got this burden on your heart, why not some other office? And it's because in the United States Senate, one person can have profound influence in the Senate. I'll call your attention to that classic 1939 movie, Mr. Smith Goes to Washington. Some of you will remember that old Jimmy Stewart played that part. And you'll remember that the ears of the American people were tuned to their radios in 1939 because this good man had the audacity to challenge the corruption of the United States Senate that existed in that movie and that he was portraying. And you may remember that he talked until he collapsed, okay? And I believe that he succeeded because he called attention to the problem, and I am prepared to do the same thing. I'm going to work for the people and then come back home after 6 years to my day job. I will not sell my businesses. I will not buy real estate in Washington, D.C. I will go, and if necessary, I will be the sole one that will stand on the floor of the Senate until somebody has the courage to join me. Now, if we don't have a good election cycle in 2012 across the nation, then I might be pretty lonely for the first couple of years. But I will do everything I can in my spare time, shall we say, to travel to states that are having senatorial elections in 2014. I say, folks, I need some reinforcements. There's just a handful of us here, but one senator can still have quite a bit of influence, if nothing else, through the filibuster. And that could, I don't mind naming names if I have to, and nobody can threaten me saying, you do that, we won't raise any money for you, Glenn. No big deal. I've already closed my campaign, but I'm not running for re-election. And so when you don't have the hooks in you, the burden of running for re-election, you've got a lot more clout, even though you're considered a lame duck, you've got a lot more clout to do what needs to be done. That's why I'm convinced there's 2 or 3 Democrats that all of a sudden, they have kind of started to talk about entitlement reform. Well, it just so happens they're not running for re-election, you see? And so they know that in their heart of hearts, entitlements have got to be dealt with, and so they're starting to talk kind of like a conservative Republican. And I believe that the nation's problems are so challenging and difficult, and that we literally, financially, are kind of circling the drain. And I'm not a negative person. The glass is half full with me, but it's sitting on the edge of the table, and it's about to fall off the cliff if we don't turn it around.